we might have just strayed out of the horror genre into a film called Vengeance.
Vengeance. Yes.
Now I know a little bit about this. Has B.J. Novak in it, and he wrote, directed, and stars in it. And I know that because B.J. Novak, he was in the episodes of The Office. I do not watch The Office, so I do not know what character he played, but he's been doing a lot of writing in American TV. And so, Shaun, you saw this. Tell us what Vengeance is all about.
Okay, so Vengeance is all about. Basically, it's there's this talking about we're doing podcasts. Yeah, he's a podcaster. He's aspiring. He's sort of from New York, northerner, and he had a bit of a fling with this girl who was from Texas, Abilene. She was called, and she gets his phone call and says, "Oh, she's died. Would you come to the funeral?" And that, because the family, like her family, think it was really, really important that So he decides, and he's got. I don't know if that was completely opposite. Anyway, he's got I guess someone who's like a producer, an editor, all that, and goes, "Yeah, go on down there, try and get a story and find out what this is." And so he goes down there, and then he sort of interacts. He looks at these Texas family as as sort of not particularly bright or anything, but they are. Anyway, they say that they believe that although she had an overdose, she was actually killed, and they want him. The brothers, like proper Texan with guns in the back and all that sort of stuff, and they believe that she was killed, and it wasn't an overdose and it wasn't an accident. And so basically they want, we're going to find out, it's this, these cartels, and that's why I said cartels earlier, and the ones avenging. And he's like, well, I don't really do guns and all that sort of stuff and all that, and he sort of don't believe it, but he sort of goes with it, and he follows, and he stays with the family, and they're like proper Texans, and the mum's like, or the grandma's like, "No, you don't need a gun. You need a pump action shotgun, 2 ARs." And they're going, yeah. Okay, but anyway, so that's
Great
basically
nation of Texas.
Yeah. He goes down there, but it's not really. There's not really a lot of action in this. It's not like an action thing and all that. It's a lot of dialogue and a lot of really, really clever dialogue. It's like
that sounds like B.J. Novak.
Yeah, it was a commentary on American values. About social media, or the influence that social media come. Some great conversations. There's one bit, and I mean, I love my Americana and stuff, and where these bodies are found, these sort of, they call them the after parties, it's like like a comedy as well as being serious, but it's done where it comes under the jurisdictions of like about 4 different law enforcement things. So he goes and sees the town police, and they're like, "Oh no, you have to see the sheriff because it's right by county line." So he goes see the sheriff, and she says, "No, it's not the sheriff, it's the highway patrol. It was out on the patrol." So he goes and sees the highway patrol, and there are all these different agencies. He goes, "Oh no, it was a border patrol." And the border patrol goes, "Those goddamn highway police," he said, "they don't know nothing. They just stand there with their speed cameras trying." And I think in this country, I've heard policemen say, "Oh yeah, the motorway police are like, they don't seem to like them because anyway." But so it was great, and as I say, there was some really, really profound stuff, lots of insight. I now know why Six Flags Over America, why they call like the amusement park Six Flags Over America, which was really interesting. So there's a lot to it, and he suddenly finds that where we look down on this Texas family, they have got sort of different values, and I mean they talk about Prokofiev and all that. You've got this. It's really, really in depth. A lot of dialogue, really, really interesting. Probably not for everybody. And as I say, it's not really a lot of action. Bit of a twist at the end, should we say? But yeah, really, really, really. This was so totally. After seeing Smile, this was like a real breath of fresh air. This was a real surprise to me. A real surprise. I mean, yeah, there's. Just the stuff with the law enforcement, and there were some comedical moments as well, And now grandma blurts out, well, I can't really give away because otherwise that would give too many spoilers. And he goes to he sort of decides he's going to go to a sex party, so he gets dressed up as a Texan. And that's in the trailer. And also he goes to a rodeo where all the rodeos, and they go, "Oh yeah, who's hands up all those University of Texas," and it's he's like the only one, and it's got
University of Texas, Longhorns.
So they sort of call him out, and there's a bit anyway. Well, no, I can't because it'll be all spoilers. But yeah, so this was a terrific movie. I really, really, totally was engrossed in this. This was this was for me it was a special movie. This one, I really liked it. I really liked it.
How many stars?
Nothing really happened, but the actual dialogue and the conversations and the interactions between the Texans and this New Yorker guy, just spot on. Really good. Yeah.
So how many stars would you give Vengeance?
I'd like to say a 5, but I think on Sharon's criteria.
Go with your heart, Shaun. Go with your heart.
Right, okay, so I've done a 1. So okay, then I've done a 1, which probably other people would have thought I was a 2. So I'll give this one a 5. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. I was totally. I liked this one. I think it was a real surprise, and I didn't know what to expect. I think it was one of those ones where I just had no idea what was going to happen, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I'd watch it again.
These are on a dime a dozen at Halloween. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool. So because I've heard good things about B.J Novak, and B.J Novak, he's one of those guys who's like he's the kind of person who you would imagine being a writer on Frasier. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So so you always expect that if you write something, it's going to be cerebral and it's going to be funny but very sort of like very talky funny.
Very talky funny. Yeah. It is really funny, but it's also very insightful as well. You know, it's
Yeah, because there's a show he has on Disney Plus called the Premise, I think it is The Premise, where it's all about coming up with solutions for world problems and all that. But he does clever stuff. So good to know that he's in his directorial debut. He has continued that, and now